Alan West has lost his election. It is clear. In fact, he did a partial recount. He still lost the election. Does that mean Alan West is going to concede? Of course not. He's lived in an alternate reality all this time, so why change now? In Alan West's reality, Alan West is a glorious winner. Now, the fact that he happens to be on this planet is a little bit of a detriment to him. So he has gone onto his Facebook page to complain about what's happened. He says, quote, "I am deeply troubled by the voting procedure issues emanating from St. Lucie County. It is unconscionable to me to witness what is transpiring before our eyes." Well, it's an absolute pleasure to see a Republican worrying about voting machines. Great. Where were you in 2004? But nonetheless, you know what? If they want to do paper trails and counts and recounts, I'm always in. And I'm glad that St. Lucie did some sort of recount here. There's no harm in taking your time and figuring out who actually won the election. Now, of course, there are bounds of reason. He is outside the margin of error for what they do a recount for. They've already done a partial recount, and he's saying, give me a double recount. Well, that's not within the rules or the laws, and you've lost. You're outside the margin of error. So, and they already did something they weren't supposed to do for you. Are you now going to give up? No, of course not. He says, this is not about who gets a congressional seat, because it belongs to the people. This is about preserving the integrity of the voting process and the fundamental right to free and honest elections, because it is for that which I and all veterans have risked our lives. He put that out on Veterans Day, so a little veteran card from the bottom of the deck. By the way, yes, he was a veteran. He was also dismissed from the military for doing a mock execution, which was wildly illegal. And that was also brought up in the campaign, and apparently the voters decided that they would also like to dismiss it. But Alan West, being the man that he is a little thick, a little hard to get the message through to him. But Alan, you're done. Move along. But before you leave, let's have one last fun moment, relive the wonderful wackiness that was Alan West.
And we should not allow the Muslim Brotherhood associated groups to be influencing our national security strategy.
You believe they are?
Oh, absolutely.
Corporate
I believe there's about 78 to 81 members of the Congress.
But get the hell out of the United States of America.
I think if you poll the American people, Kira, I don't think they're going to bring up gay marriage as one of the top concerns.
Yeah, I said hell.
You have this 21st century plantation that has been out there.
He'd rather you be his slave.
And you have established certain black leaders who are nothing more than the overseers of that plantation. And now the people on that plantation are upset. To me, it's a form of modern 21st century slavery. So I'm here as the modern day Harriet Tubman to kind of lead people on the Underground Railroad away from that plantation.
We need to let them know that Florida ain't on the table.
Alan, we're going to miss you. JR put that compilation together. JR, are you going to miss him?
No and yes. I mean, come on, from all that stuff, it was awesome. But the thing is, you can't think about it. Alan West talks about all the fights he got in with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, poking me in our chest. After all that bullshit you spew for the last couple of years, I mean, how do you go out this easily? You have to be an asshole going out, too. You have to be like, well, I can't accept this because this is just way too embarrassing. You guys just totally kicked my ass out after all this I was saying. Well, I'm just, hey, you overseers, I'm the real black guy. I'm the Harriet Tubman. How do you can't leave. If you left peacefully, I'd be disappointed.
No, that's a great point. And part of what he said in his Facebook rant was like, I'm doing this for all of you, because he's got all these lunatics all across the country who donated to him because they thought he was Harriet Tubman. So they're like, well, how's that Underground Railroad going? Well, it's going underground into his pocket. That's where the money went. No, look, he ran his campaign and he squandered the money that way. But if he goes out in a whimper, well, they're not going to like that. So that's what he's saying. He's like, I was robbed. You know, because the thing that conservatives actually love in reality is being victims. It's projection. They always say that about liberals, but in fact, they're always like, oh, the Christians in this country are so persecuted. And look at me, the voting machines, the voting machines.
St. Lucie is poking him in the chest. Isn't it St. Lucie?
Yeah, that's right. They're poking him in the chest. Are you going to stand for that, Alan, or are you going to do another mock execution? Okay. And, Jared, my last question to you is, whatever will you do without your modern-day Harriet Tubman?
Well, there's less material. I mean, look, we lost Herman Cain. We've lost Allen West. Who's next? Mitch McConnell is the top. Those are my top three.
Okay.
What's going to happen if we lose Mitch?
Yeah, Mitch, watch your back, man. If Jared does a compilation about you, there's some chance you're in a lot of trouble.